Hello my loyal companions, welcome back to the channel and to another episode of Rogue Revealed, the series where I take you through everything you need to know about Rogue Company. With so many community tournaments popping up at the moment, I wanted to give you an insight into the competitive scene once again on this channel by giving you some tips of how you and your squad should play and think when you're going into some of these competitive matches. The biggest of these tournaments is obviously RogueBowl, hosted by Maru Gaming. If you don't know what it is, I put a video out on my channel explaining it and how you can enter. It is free to enter, and that will be near the top of the description. For now though, let's get into the tips. These tips will mostly apply to players who are playing Demolition in full 4-man squads. If you're playing any other tournaments, any other sort of game modes in that, then they may not be as effective for you, but you may still learn something. Kicking off with tip number 1 is going to be to play complementary rogues with your teammates. What I mean by this is to not pick rogues that don't really have the same sort of playstyle or go for the same objective as a team. Some examples of this, if you're on an attack comp, is to run some sort of breach such as a Dema and a glitch. If you're running on a defensive comp and you really want to hold down some sort of line of sight or position, then maybe running things like an Anvil, a Trench and a Vi, which is a fantastic job. You'll have so much zone control. You need to do a bit of practice to sort of figure out which rogues work best with each other based on your particular playstyles, based on the map, and based on what your main objective is. There's a lot of versatility in this game and it really depends on what you want to do, so just make sure you and your team are all on the same page and you pick things that make sense. In the upcoming weeks, I'll be putting out guides on the different maps and also on different strategies to apply to them. If you are interested in that, leave down in the comments which map you would like me to do first. Leading on from that is tip number 2, and a massively important tip I think for competitive play, and that is to use utility. This is utility in terms of abilities, utility in terms of passives, utility in terms of grenades and gadgets and everything else you can think of. Even utility as far as tracker rounds can be some fantastic stuff for your team. Some rogues have fantastic defensive utilities such as Anvil and Trench with their trophy system, whereas some rogues like Glitch and Dema have fantastic breaching utility with the flashbang from Glitch, obviously his main ability, and then Dema's launcher as well. Almost always now when I play competitive play, on the very first round I buy some form of utility. Either it's an extra grenade, it's a Molotov, it's a flashbang, it's a trophy system, whatever it is depending on my rogue. That's the first thing I buy because utility is what helps coordinated teams win fights so much more. If you think about whenever you watch any other sort of esports such as CSGO and you see them there, they're always buying flashbangs, always buying grenades, and there's a reason for it. It's because utility wins games in competitive play more than a lot of other factors. Tip number 3 is to learn how to play different maps. Now this applies to both attacking and defending, and I've kind of got a brief overview for each of them for you. When you're defending, what you really need to be learning is how to rotate. When you're on a defensive side, you generally split yourselves among the 2 different bomb sites in the midsection because they're generally 3-lane maps, and you need to be able to quickly rotate and learn different rotation routes to get to your teams when you know where the attackers are going. Similarly, on attacking side, you want to learn 3 different strategies at a minimum of how you're going to attack the map. This could simply be one way of attacking B, one way of attacking A, and one way of attacking through mid. Getting a good 3 that you can cycle between will help keep the enemy off guard and help you just be on the same page, doing the same formula over and over again to win rounds. Tip number 4 is to know your role within the team, and honestly this is the factor that will make you the best teammate possible. There are many different playstyles within Rogue Company. You could be a hardcore fragger, a breacher, you could be a defender, or you could be some sort of supportive role within your team. You kind of need to figure out 2 things. 1, which one you are and which one you prefer, and also which one you think your team needs the most, and they may not be the same thing. There's very little point having 4 players on the team who are all going for the same role within it, just trying to frag out and get as many kills as possible. Yes, that works, but when it comes to actually having a bit of diversity and then playing against better teams, you're so predictable. If you'll rush in and try and get as much kills as possible, having other people on your team who can fulfill different roles and enable those fraggers to get the kills will be a lot more useful. I'm going to probably be putting out some videos later on as we move through towards RogueBowl and other tournaments about how my team is playing, and particularly how I'm playing. So if you want to know my personal play style, you can check that out in future videos, or if you come to my live stream on twitch.tv/Radthar Gaming, you'll be able to see me actually put those into practice there. Going on to the final tip though, and probably the most obvious, but kind of underrated in some aspects, is to practice as much as possible. If you want to play Rogue Company competitive, and that doesn't mean esports, pro play, $1 million tournaments, it just means going into competitive scenes against other teams who want to play competitive, then you do need to practice. You need to practice the maps, you need to practice your rogues, you need to practice your aim, they're the obvious things, but you also, more than anything, need to practice your communication. When 4 individuals who can't communicate or can't find that blend of communication they may as well go and play public matches because they're not going to gel in a way that's useful. The biggest issues I see are too many people communicating, not enough people communicating, or people just not listening to the calls. You need to find how you mold as a team, who your shot callers are, who your playmakers are, and who is just there to listen to the call and do their job effectively. Also, callouts of where enemy locations are very important for every member of the team, so you need to make sure that everyone's able to do that confidently. We practice as often as we can, generally about 4 hours a day. Now, obviously, that is a luxury that we have with 2 of us being full-time streamers and myself being fully invested in content creation at the moment. But you can still find at least some time to play with your teammates and get better at the game. But also, just because you are practicing doesn't mean you have to go full try-hard, sweaty tournament mode. You can just practice casually, just practice maps and guns and talk and just have a laugh with them. Because at the end of the day, your teammates should be your friends, and you should get to know them. You should be able to gel on that level. And if you can't, then there's a bad synergy in the team, and it's kind of felt even in tournament air. All my teammates are fantastic guys, and we do all really get on, which is why our team works so well. All their links will be down in the description to their live streams, and they will be featuring in some future content, I imagine, so look out for them. Okay then guys, that's going to take us to the end of the video. I hope you enjoyed. If you did, make sure you leave a like on the video and subscribe to the channel. You can also follow my live stream on twitch.tv/Radthar Gaming to see more live game commentary, tournament practice, and some guides and Q&As. My Discord is also linked in the description. You can go check that out if you want to join my community personally, and that is if I'm playing with viewers where I'll take them from. Other than that guys, I hope you have a fantastic day, and remember, be loyal, be brave, be relentless, and I'll see you in the next video.